Hi. So today we're talking about one of the most overlooked things in medicine, 20 years practicing. If you're looking for energy, we want you to look at your electrolytes.
It's crazy. It's warm. It's heating up, and patients are starting to roll in, and they're having symptoms of dehydration
Mhm.
and energy loss. And I think the way it shows up for a lot of people is sometimes like just dizziness, fatigue. It's amazing what kind of low grade dehydration can look like so many different medical issues. And when I talk to some of my patients, they're just not that great about hydrating and electrolytes.
Yes, and it's just one of those things I've learned even for myself that it's if I have an electrolyte drink, either a tablet or a pill or one of the drinks during the day, my energy will sustain through the day. So that sort of sparked me into like looking at why would this be? And I think there's just different kinds of people out there. So anybody who has a lower blood pressure, I'm running 90 over 60 over here at all times. Even when pregnant, I was 90 over 60. Those lower blood pressure folks actually require maybe more electrolytes. I think our culture says, salt is bad for us, and it's been a problem actually. I think that messaging is a bit of a problem. Um,
It for
yeah.
especially for women, like I mean, and I had a woman. There's just so much medical information out there, so people grab snippets. Like I had a woman with some thyroid dysfunction, and so she just cut out all salt because she read somewhere that probably that iodine was bad for her, or there
Mhm.
could be an iodine issue. So she all of a sudden she cut out salt. I'm not sure why, and she's standing up, getting dizzy, walking around stores. And it's like, okay, because she's cut out all sodium. She has very low blood pressure. So for her, she made a medical shift that was like not necessary, and it caused another problem. She didn't have enough electrolyte, which in that case was sodium for her. So sodium can be really important for women, especially women with, like Kara said, lower blood pressures.
Yeah, so I mean, proper hydration is imperative, and you and I constantly are talking to individual patients about this, and we find that they're suboptimally hydrated, and maybe they're not dehydrated, they need an IV bag, but they're suboptimally hydrated, and they might know that by their lips are a little dry, skin's a little dry, focus goes in the afternoon. There's just a sluggishness. Sometimes you get swelling of your ankles or your legs through the day, and you wonder, why am I getting a little swollen? These are things that sometimes people tell us about, but we really do think that, especially if you're a person who sweats and actually exercises, electrolytes is a really big deal. But even for me, if I'm not exercising one day, it is a huge deal in my energy. We also, you and I are talking about hormones a lot with women, and the production of hormones, delivery of hormones to tissue depends on electrolytes. It's one of those things, it's an overlooked factor. Like if you don't have enough of this sodium, potassium, magnesium, all these electrolytes in your body, your blood flow just doesn't get to the places we want it to get. So, to maintain proper fluids in your body, which is like part of vitality, right? Like we don't want to dry up like prunes. Like this is not the thing we're going for as we're aging. We need to think about electrolytes and do we have enough? It's so cool. So, Hill, I looked at some of the research on this. I want to tell you this really cool thing that I was reading, because sometimes I drink the noon ones, those just tablets. I'll sometimes throw it into a drink at work or whatever. And they did this research study. This is, in PubMed. This is a published piece of research. It's the impact of noon electrolyte tablets on fluid balance in active men and women. And it's in the journal Nutrients from 2020. Anyway, really interesting is that they're saying, maintaining adequate hydration has major implications for athletes, especially. And what's really cool is that people who had, I thought this was interesting, the noon tablets, they actually urinated less. So what does that tell us? Is that they're keeping fluid in their blood vessels where we want fluid to go. We don't want fluid to like leak out into the spaces or go out as urine. We want to hold our fluid in our body. And so one difference between having an electrolyte drink or water is that the electrolyte drink might actually allow you to hold fluids in your blood vessels and in your body. So that's like so cool that they actually have their research on that, you know? So interesting that you would think I'm having electrolytes, I'm drinking this, I'm going to urinate more, but you're not. You're holding fluid in the body.
I think a lot of patients will present saying things like, I drink a lot of water. I drink so much water. I drink so many of these a day. And I'm losing a lot of fluid and I always feel thirsty.
Mhm,
It's like it's not working. And those are the people that definitely need an electrolyte. It's like the water needs to be charged. And
mhm,
like Kara said, so that it can cross over, be in the vessels and not filtered as much out so that you're not losing as much out when you're urinating, you're holding the charge.
mhm,
And I think that many of us are using reverse osmosis for water filtration, and some of us aren't getting as many minerals in the water, and so an electrolyte's a really good way to make sure that you're getting enough sodium potassium in balance. Some
mhm,
have vitamin C's, some have different levels and different amounts, some are saltier than others.
mhm,
You can make your own at home electrolyte, and many women will, when I ask them, like, especially the ones getting dizzy when they stand up or feeling faint or dizzy, I say, what do you crave? Do you crave salt? Oh my gosh, I crave so much salt. Like
mhm.
the other day, my patient said that she was like licking the bottom of her cracker bag, and I'm like, okay, so
Yeah,
you need a little bit of salt in your
I'm
beverage.
like
Like
that. Mhm,
somewhere along the line, you just aren't getting enough sodium. And
mhm,
so you can make your own electrolytes potion at home. We have with Himalayan salt, like a pinch of Himalayan salt, organic lemon juice, a little bit of honey or maple syrup to taste, because some people won't want to drink salt water. But I have had patients literally with such low blood pressure that they crave salt water. And drinking salt water is like that. To me, that's like crazy. And your body must really, really
mhm,
be screaming, I need this, I need sodium. So what we don't want is, there's this trend of like drinking gallons of water. Water needs to be properly balanced. You can
mhm.
overhydrate and cause what's called hyponatremia or hypokalemia, which means that you don't have enough electrolyte. These things are really important to keep your heart going.
Right. Yeah, you
So
can dilute out. That's dangerous.
that's dangerous. So you want to aim for about half your body weight in ounces of water. You can add an electrolyte to that. So that's a baseline. If you're sweating a lot more, if it's super hot and you're losing a lot of fluid, or if you're drinking alcohol or you're drinking caffeinated beverages, coffee are they you lose a little bit of extra fluid. They're diuretics, so you could just drink a little bit more kind of for your vices, but you don't need to be drinking 2 gallons of water a day or
Which we
anything
have
like.
people tell us.
We
That's not
do.
okay. All the time, you and I, because we think more is better. That's like a cultural norm for us. Like we're always trying to break that pattern, and more is not better for health stuff. It really isn't. There's very few health things that more is better. Even more exercise, more sleep, more those things. You can go overboard on all these things. There's always this happy medium, and electrolytes are kept super tightly regulated in the body. It's a small range. Your body works hard to do that, and so I get nervous when people are drinking. They're like, "Oh, I drink at least a gallon a day." And I'm thinking, okay, how much are you actually sweating? How much are you losing in heat? How big of a person are you? Like, what are we looking at here? Is your urine just totally clear? Is it straw colored? What do we have going on here? Because it is dangerous to be overhydrated. I think we see that a lot. I have had patients go to the ER. Literally had a patient go to the ER with a water bottle because it's always thirsty, always, always thirsty. With a water bottle, they found out it was just the dilution of the electrolytes was causing all the like dizziness and almost like stroke-like symptoms in this person. So that was a very interesting case where I said, "Oh, that's so crazy that you showed up with the water bottle because you knew, oh, I'm going to be there hours. I'm going to need to have my water with me, even though you were overhydrated." So remember those years that I was addicted to coconut water?
Yeah, I mean,
So
are you not anymore? I
no,
mean,
not anymore because I've discovered electrolytes that don't have a lot of sugar in them and that I feel like I can have. Like I'll rotate through a few brands of electrolytes. And so I think that I love coconut water, but that was the one I felt like was from nature and it balanced the electrolytes by itself. But it has a lot of calories for people. It has a lot of sugar in it. It typically does. I think it's hard to source really well. It has all these containers. Am I getting microplastics from the lining of whatever I'm drinking? These are all my questions. So I'd rather just have the electrolyte pill or tablet or powder. And so coconut water can be used because it does have digestible carbohydrates and electrolytes, the potassium, the magnesium, the calcium, the phosphorus, the sodium. It does have that. So you can use that. But the sports drinks are always, the extra dyes, the extra sugars. We don't want that stuff in people. Herbal teas count as your water, right? So if it doesn't
herbal teas.
have caffeine,
Yes. So for people who hate water, and
mm,
also I just did an Instagram reel asking people what do they like to drink when they're not drinking, and just finding out like many people don't like to drink water, but if you squeeze some grapefruit, squeeze some lime juice, somebody said pineapple juice in water, like muddling up a little pineapple and mint. Like if you don't like water and you tend not to drink it, then spritz it, like juice it up with something, and that can make a huge shift. Watermelon, a little bit of watermelon muddled in the water, any of these things. We want, just so you know, electrolytes in general are minerals that we should be getting in our food. Okay. But I think as the food supply dwindles, as people use sometimes reverse osmosis water and a lot of that, the minerals are taken out, they are getting potentially not enough minerals. So that's potassium, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, sodium. So that's like a big reason why people eat bananas after a workout or for cramping, is because the potassium, they're having a potassium deficiency. Many people, like we said before, the dizziness is like a sodium issue. So these things, the right amount of calcium, the right amount of magnesium, they're all really important for muscle function, heart function,
mhm.
and hydration. So it's one of the hacks is using some of these great electrolyte drinks.
Yeah, or like a slice of cucumber in your water goes a long way. It tastes like you're at the spa or something, it's like gives it a refreshing thing. But, you know, also I think some of the GI issues that you and I are talking to people about
Yep.
all the time are this electrolyte imbalance piece. So whether you're having loose stool or constipation, it could be this. It could be that you just don't have the right amount of electrolytes. So trying that there might be really interesting for people because the transport across like the lining of the GI is really important for fluid transport. These electrolytes are key there, and vitamin K is key. So we just had a friend who had us try a new electrolyte powder, and it was so interesting because there were three naturopaths there, and we're checking out the ingredients because we like to read the ingredients like crazy people, right? We're so nuts on the exact form of the minerals and where is this sort, we're like that. All three of us said, "This is so cool. You have vitamin K in here." I don't think I've ever seen an electrolyte have vitamin K. And in the reading I was just doing, kind of trying to right before hopping on with you, Hill, it was really interesting because you and I know because we took all these sciencey classes that vitamin K is really important for electrolyte and transport of nutrients, etc., over cell membranes. So somewhere in their research, they must have come across where what I was reading, because vitamin K might be a big determinant here of whether people can keep the electrolytes in their blood vessels and have that balance in their body.
Mm.
Because I think we test vitamin D in people now. We didn't when we used to. When we first became doctors, that was a new thing, right? But we don't test vitamin K really in people. And I wonder if because we do things like pasteurized milk and we destroy nutrients by heat and things for our food supply, which, we probably need to get rid of toxicity and pathogens and things like that. But because of the way we have our food, we might be all low in vitamin K these days. And so having that vitamin K in there might be a trick for some people. So I'm interested to sort of play with that product and see over time, okay, are there certain people that this really changes their GI health, their energy, everything, because it has the vitamin K in it. What's it called?
Oh
Is
my
it
gosh.
high bar?
Thanks. I'm like having a serious
Is it high bar? I'm gonna go get it.
do you have one?
I do have one. You talk
Okay,
for a
good.
second. I have one. Hold on.
Okay. I was like, she's just totally challenged my perimenopausal brain. Oh my goodness. So the other thing, many people, she's talking about vitamin K. Vitamin K isn't often in electrolyte drinks, but for many people that are supplementing vitamin D, usually that comes with vitamin K2. So we really like that formulation that when you're doing vitamin D, which is a whole separate combo, but that's where most people are getting vitamin K or in a multi-mineral. And the name of the product is High Burst. I got it. Come back. High Burst. It's our friend's product. We'll talk more about it, but it's called High Burst. It was really yummy. I think it's just newer product on the market.
You're
The
right.
first,
High burst.
I
Good job.
just said hi. It came to me. It just was very slow. Do you like that for all the you guys out there with hormone issues? Did you see how slow it took for my brain processing to happen?
Yep.
How many women come to us and they're like, we have like ADD, or our brain isn't working as well, or we have memory problems. And it's just like this slow turning machine. Like you get there. It's just like not like it used to be.
Yeah. But that vitamin K might be a key to actually keeping hydrated. I'm really going to try that with some folks. We'll come back and tell you all how it goes
Okay,
with that.
great.
But everybody keep hydrated in the summertime. That's especially important, but try it and see if your afternoon fatigue goes away. It's a challenge for you all because I think it's really interesting, but it definitely does for me.
I love it. And what a great thing, like at noon or at how that sort of serves you. Love it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.